Okay, so I did something that I've wanted to do for a while. I completed the Crazy for Cats achievement, which gets you a title. So I got the Spectral Tiger Cub. That's kind of what started this. From the trading post, I had frozen it a few months ago when it came around and finally got around to purchasing it. And somewhere in there, I um, figured out it was part of the achievement. So I started to look. I had tried to do this way back when. So I had about more than half. You only need to get 20. Um, So I ran around, did a few more things, and was able to finally um, complete it. What makes it difficult from other achievements, and I don't know there's any other achievement in the game that is quite like this, is that you will either have to purchase items from the store or be lucky with RNG. So there's vendors and there's pet battles, and that will get you more than halfway there. There are a few that are on the store, Bright Paw and Cinder Kitten. In fact, I bought the Cinder Kitten to complete this because I only needed one more. Um, to be fair. Um, and then from there, there's kind of a few different things you can do. There is one rating with leeches. Where is it? There we go. So Bigglesworth will count towards the achievement if you can collect everything else. So I had most of these. Bought a couple from the auction house. The two I'm missing cost thousands of gold. Um, and it was kind of more than I wanted to spend for a pet. I really don't do much with pets. I'll collect them because they're part of achievements and things like that. Um, but I don't really do much with them otherwise. So it was a bit more than I was willing to spend. If you do raiding, you may have all of this, so you may be in a bit of a different situation. That's really the thing, is it just kind of depends on what you do, what you like to do. So there's no kind of one right way or wrong way to do this other than to collect the vendor pets and the battle pets. I feel like are um, pretty obvious. There's a Darkmoon Faire pet you can get once a month. Um, the Spectral Cub was a promotional pet, so that is no longer obtainable. Um, the Spectral Tiger Cub and the Guardian Cub, I believe, are now part of the trading post, so that adds kind of an extra element of difficulty to it. And then the Night Saber Cub is a pet from the TCG. And then the Black Tabby Cat is a world drop from Hillsbrad Foothills, which is also available on the Black Market Auction House. So I believe that covers about everything as far as where you can um, obtain them from. Um, so two things kind of took me time in completing this, and that was waiting for Timmy, which sells the white kitten. Um, He has a spawn timer of 3 hours, which seems to be a pretty even 3 hours. I saw some things that said if you talk to him, that'll add 10 minutes, give or take. Um, didn't seem to make much of a difference. Um, he makes the part of the difficulty with Timmy is he makes his loop around his route in Stormwind and then he just despawns. So I was waiting in Stormwind where the new kind of cemetery area is, the part that had been destroyed for a while, where the transmogrifier and void storage and all that is. Um, he will start to make his loop counterclockwise, and by the time he finishes, he'll be walking clockwise. So you kind of can always know, and he kind of spawns around that area from what I could gather. Um, so if you wait there, if you miss him, you know you missed him. You just kind of factor in 3 hours and check back and see if he's there. Um, if not, you can kind of just go around his route and see if you can find him. The other thing that took me a while, so Timmy took me about 2, 3 days. Um, the other thing that took some time was the sand kitten, which is usually found around Gadgeson. So I actually found, so the partially was my fault. I found it about 4 times, I believe. Yeah. So the first time I found it, I wasn't paying attention. It's about a level 13, 14 pet. Wasn't paying attention to the team that I had. They were all level 1. I was able to tame the cat. However, the other pet, there's always one other pet, either another sand kitten or another pet from around the zone. Um, they defeated my team. And if you get defeated, you don't get any pet that you tame during the match, and then they despawn. So that was part of the problem. So if you lose a pet battle match, you can't always just finish your. If you surrender, they don't seem to despawn. Um, if you um, if you lose, they do. So I'm not entirely sure if that's just in certain areas or if that's just general in pet battling. Um, then the second time I um, found one. So I looked and I didn't have any battle pets that were exactly the same level. They were either a couple levels lower or a couple levels higher. And I didn't want to take a chance of killing it because you can't tame it then. So I tried using a team that were a couple levels lower. And the same thing happened as with the level 1 team. I was able to tame um, the Sand Kitten. Then the other pet just defeated my team. So, because every time you try to tame, you're generally not your pet won't attack, so you're taking damage. Um, so it usually took about 2, 3 attempts to try to tame um, the pet, and that was enough that the other pet was able to defeat my team. So um, I looked, I would say generally the best advice I could say for either one of these is to look more around reset whenever your reset day is. Because the second time I found one was on reset day. So I went ahead, swapped out my pet team, and then just started looking around and was actually able to find um, the Sand Kitten 2 more times. And then was able to actually tame 2 more. One was common and one was rare. So I've seen them in all 3 quality. I've seen common, uncommon, and rare. I don't know that I've seen one that was poor. Um, any quality will count towards the achievement. They're just the better quality you can get, the better for if you were actually going to do anything with pet battles. Okay, so I realized I forgot to mention the Sapphire Cub is a jewel crafting pet. Now, the pattern is difficult to obtain because it is a drop from Miss of Pandora. However, it is sold on the auction house. And when I looked, it was reasonably priced, I'll say, just a few gold. So depending on your server, um, that may be an option for another pet towards the achievement. The other thing I would mention, there is a battle pet tournament on the Timeless Isle. However, you have to have so many max level, which is level 25. So you have to have so many level 25 pets in order to even participate in it. And in order to get any of the pets or anything that the vendor sells, um, requires a specific currency. So it is a lot of grinding. And as you can see, you don't really need it per se. So, um, yeah. So this might be something you do more kind of over time. I would recommend if you're interested in doing it. So, um, look when you've seen a battle pet, if you see anything that ends with cat, kitten, cub, feline, anything like that. Anything cat related, maybe just glance and see if you're interested in this. I don't know that I really missed out on getting anything from what I could tell. As I said, I kind of got all the easy to acquire pets. If I had realized this sooner, I might have tried grinding for some of the pet drops. At this point, I just kind of wanted to finish it, and I just needed one more, so I was uh, I was fine just getting the Cinder Kitten just to complete this. So that being said, I will go over the vendors and the pet battles and the show you the start and the finish for the Panther Cub quest line. Okay, well there you go, folks. Hope that was helpful for you. Hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.
from the voodoo.